Sumptuary laws, how kings regulated luxury in clothing and jewelry. In the society of the Middle Ages and the early modern period, a person's appearance was not merely a matter of personal choice, but a visible marker of social rank. Nobility, merchants, clergy, artisans, and peasants were expected to dress according to their station. To preserve this social hierarchy, European monarchs issued special sumptuary laws, royal decrees that regulated clothing and jewelry for each estate. The tradition had roots in ancient Rome, where women of certain ranks were forbidden to wear pearls, and senators were entitled to a specific number of purple stripes on their togas. Medieval kings adopted the same principle. The motives were varied, preserving distinctions between social classes, moral concerns voiced by the Church, which condemned luxury as prideful excess, and economic reasons, since the import of precious fabrics, pearls, and gemstones drained silver and gold from the country. In England, King Edward III, 1327 to 1377, issued decrees forbidding common people to wear furs, cloth of gold, or pearls. His famous 1363 law specified that peasants and servants must dress in garments of modest price, without furs or jewels. Henry VIII continued the practice. Silk and velvet were permitted only to the highest nobility, while purple velvet was reserved exclusively for the royal family. In France, Philip IV the Fair and his successors imposed restrictions on silk and jewels within the towns, and Francis I in 1516 forbade the bourgeoisie to wear fabrics embroidered with gold thread. Italian city-states were even stricter. In Venice and Florence during the 15th and 16th centuries, the number of rings, the strands of pearls, and even the length of a woman's train were determined by her social rank and marital status. Venetian merchant wives, for example, were forbidden to wear more than a single strand of pearls. In Spain, Charles V and Philip II attempted to curb the excessive luxury of their nobility, fearing it weakened military discipline. Their decrees went so far as to regulate the dimensions of lace collars. Only the king and his direct heirs had the right to wear imperial purple, the ultimate emblem of sovereignty. Crowns, diadems, scepters, and other regalia were adorned without restriction with diamonds, sapphires, rubies, and emeralds, while fabrics interwoven with gold and silver threads and the furs of ermine and sable were the exclusive prerogatives of the crown. The aristocratic was allowed to wear rings with precious stones, though often limited in size and number, to use fine furs, though not those considered royal, and to display golden chains and jeweled brooches. Noble women could wear pearls, but the number of strands and size of the pearls were prescribed by law. Merchants and townspeople were forbidden to wear gold or silver on their clothing. Their jewelry was restricted to semi-precious stones, such as garnet, amethyst, and carnelian, with only small pearls allowed in limited quantity. Men of this class might wear rings, but usually signet rings rather than gems of high value. Peasants were confined to clothing of wool or linen without ornament. Gold, silver, silk, and furs were strictly prohibited. At most, they could wear a simple copper ring or wooden beads. Violators faced fines or confiscation of forbidden items. Officials were sometimes appointed to patrol the streets, halting citizens and inspecting their attire. In England, the penalty could be the loss of the garment itself. In Italy, fines might reach dozens of florins. In France, offenders could be taken to court. In practice, however, the wealthy often evaded these restrictions through bribery or legal fictions, for example by registering property under a noble's name, and thereby claiming the right to wear noble dress. By the 17th century, sumptuary laws were disappearing. The reasons were clear. The rise of trade and capitalism enriched merchants beyond the nobility, and they refused to conceal their prosperity. Fashion itself was transformed under absolutist monarchies, where rulers such as Louis XIV of France used the splendor of their courts not by prohibition, but by setting the example of magnificence. And, above all, enforcement was futile, for the laws were endlessly broken. Sumptuary laws are a striking illustration of how rulers sought to govern not only politics and economics, but also the very aesthetics of daily life. In the Middle Ages, jewelry and dress were not mere decoration, but visible emblems of status and power. Kings wore purple and gemstones as symbols of divine right. Aristocrats adorned themselves with gold and pearls to mark their distinction from the townsmen. Merchants displayed more modest stones, while peasants were left with copper or nothing at all. Today, such decrees seem strange, yet in their time they were vital instruments for preserving the social order. And still, fashion proved stronger than law. In every age, people reached for beauty and luxury, even at the cost of fines or censure.